Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Stephen O'Grady. I'm a principal analyst and co-founder of RedMonk, and I'm here to talk to Anurag. Anurag, would you care to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, my name's Anurag Gupta. I'm the founder and CEO of Shoreline Software. We're focused on automated incident response. Before Shoreline, I used to run database and analytics for AWS for 8 years, which really taught me the importance of keeping the lights on.
Indeed. And we are here to talk today about a topic of certainly of the moment. I don't think it's any secret, certainly for us or for anybody watching this. I'm sure that generative AI is well, as I said, having a moment and certainly making a huge impact on the industry as a whole in sort of short order. So, I guess we'll just sort of kick off with a basic question, sort of in terms of, as you think about it, what do you think that the sort of potential impact or the potential role for generative AI should be with respect to infrastructure? Let's just start there.
So I think it's going to be a game changer because the challenge for all of us who are responsible for keeping the lights on is figuring out what to do when there's an incident. And so, you can go to Stack Overflow, you can go to Reddit, you can go to Google. And, the problem is that the information there is often incorrect and certainly incomplete, pretty much always. And so, the best in class today is sort of Confluence wikis, but they're also incomplete and often out of date. And so that's a challenge. I mean, it's just like a design doc. Who keeps those up to date once the code's written? And so what generative AI gives us is the ability to synthesize our, what all the data that's out there into short answers and to follow chain of thought reasoning, which becomes really important to ask the follow-up questions to figure out what to do. So I think it really has the potential to be very important.
Yeah, for sure. And, we're seeing it sort of employed in a wide variety of areas. And, it is, to your point, being able to generate more complete and sort of, more accurate, sort of responses, sort of across a wide range of disciplines, obviously, depending on sort of what it's trained on, what you fed it. I think game changers is really not an overstatement in that regard. But let's sort of focus on today. Like, so if we think about where we're at today, and you think about the sort of this intersection that we're talking about of generative AI and infrastructure, what in your mind is like state of the art? What can be done if I'm a sort of customer, anybody else watching this right now? Like, what can I expect? What can I do right now? Sort of in the moment.
So, I mean, there's a lot of noise out there, right? Every single company is doing AI washing right now, talking about their generative AI capabilities. So two things I've liked are there's a company out there that is providing the capability to automatically generate Terraform modules from prompts. There's another that automatically generates kubectl commands, again, based on English language prompts. And so, the value of that is it reduces labor and lookup time, but they're testable. And because the problem with generative AI is hallucinations. Imagine you were talking to somebody who just as confidently told you a wrong answer as a correct one. And you'd stop talking to them, right?
Yeah, we've all had that experience for
challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of guardrails in production operations, and the mistakes matter.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think that those are good examples, and I think we'll just sort of see more and more of these over time. As sort of AI gets rolled out and deployed towards these use cases. And I think you're right. Like cautioning against AI washing, that's a thing for sure. But it is this is sort of notably different than past waves in our experience, because when you dig under the covers, sort of for a lot of the sort of use cases we're talking about. There's actually, there's no meat there, right? This is, hey, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before, right? And this is useful for customers and so on. So, I'll use that as just sort of lead into our last question here, which is, we talked about the potential, right? It's a game changer, potentially transformative, from an infrastructure standpoint, versus where we're at today, right? Which is, hey, we have a couple use cases. It's interesting. You can do these sort of discrete things. So what in your mind, like, what has to happen for us to get, sort of to reach that potential, right? Sort of what are the sort of next steps? Where do you go? Sort of as a company, sort of moving forward.
So, in a world where it's incredibly easy to create content, but content has hallucinations, the answer is going to be curation. So Wikipedia lets everybody add content, but there are editors who control what is accepted, same as open source projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to do the same thing for runbooks. So at Shoreline, we create about 100 runbooks a month now with, using generative AI. But we also make sure they work and stay up to date, and that they're searchable, and you find them. And in a world where content is ever easier to create, what you need is confidence, and confidence comes from curation. So trusted sources that you can go to that are providing you answers that you can believe in. And that's how I think we get from Confluence wikis to modern day runbooks.
Yeah, I like it. Well, one, because maybe we're not all out of work just yet. But two, I like the way that you're decoupling essentially the generation, sort of with the authenticity, the sort of quality, the confidence, as you put it, in that content. Because that's the nature of the systems now, right? They're spitting things out and sort of just asking you to take it at face value. But that sort of Wikipedia like, hey, is this actually accurate? Somebody check this. That is certainly a sort of means of mitigating sort of the greatest weaknesses of the systems today.
The other thing we're doing is co-piloting. So somebody can ask a prompt to do something like, hey, can you convert this from running for AWS to Azure, or from Linux to Windows, and all of those sorts of things. So you don't have to be an expert in every piece of your tech stack anymore. I think that's going to be really valuable for people.
So that makes perfect sense to me. And with that, we'll wrap up. And I just want to say thanks so much for stopping by, Anurag.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen.
Awesome. Yeah, pleasure. Cheers, everybody.